Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we're looking at the Tier 7 IGN mainline DD, the Akatsuki, which is definitely a much greater improvement over the Fubuki. You have 3 triple torpedo launchers, very similar to the Fubuki of old. Actually, I would almost say this is very similar to the Fubuki of old. It's a lot of fun to play. Detect on the Akatsuki is not particularly great, 6.4 kilometers. Many of the other DDs, well, not many, Shiratsuyu and a few others have a slightly better detect than you do, especially when you're facing against higher tier DDs such as the Fletcher, the Lightning, and the Kagero and Yugamo. They all have much better detect than you, so detect's not your strong suit, which is by far the greatest weakness of the ship. Torpedoes, like I said, triple tubes, you have 3 of them. They do have a 10-kilometer range, and they're decent speed, not particularly fast, but still fairly decent. And they hit pretty darn hard, which is always super nice. Now, as you can see, I push towards A, and I'm kind of by myself. I do drop torpedoes, because that's the one nice thing about the Akatsuki, is the torpedoes actually reload very, very quickly. So you can kind of drop them, and if you're lucky enough, especially with all these German battleships coming towards A, more than likely you're going to score a torpedo hit or 2. Guns on the Akatsuki, decent, and here is where you kind of have the whole issue with detect. As you can see, we are detected by the enemy Udachi, which is the recent Tier 7 premium destroyer that just came out. That has, I believe, a 6.2 kilometer detect. Very similar to what the Akatsuki. Udachi is a pre-nerf Shiratsuyu. Just doesn't have as good as detect as the Shiratsuyu does. But it does have torpedo reload booster as well as smoke, which is really beneficial. And oh look, there we go, torpedo. Like I said, kind of surprising. Now there's also Lantern, obviously. No point in trying to maintain a, essentially due to the fact that you're all by ourselves. Yeah, I'm just not gonna even attempt it. Dropping torpedoes. And only bad thing about doing this is it does slow you up, and especially when you have a destroyer following you, you do get detected. But we should be fine, and if we really need to, we do have a smoke. And honestly, I probably would have been fine without the smoke. But, oh well. Guns on the Akatsuki, decent. Reload time is terrible. Alpha damage is pretty nice, especially since obviously they did the buff for the IGN DDs, or IGN line, period. So alpha is pretty good, just the reload is quite terrible. So if you do have the ability to surprise a target, you can very much use your guns to take out softer targets, or at the very least use them while in smoke to help cause fires. Speed on the Akatsuki, once again, fairly decent, 39.8 knots without speed boost. So it makes it very, very quick in the water versus the Fubuki, which was a little bit slower, and it feels better. The Akatsuki is kind of the step in the direction of the IGN torpedo boats, which makes them really fun. And once again, the reload rate, very quick. A little bit over a minute, so you can really just pump out those torpedoes, and once again they really have a good range, they have a decent speed, so overall really fun, very similar to the Minikaze. Playing the Minikaze, or what it used to be, the Kamikaze for that matter, pretty much how it feels. Makes it really fun and engaging, but once again, landing your torpedoes does take a little bit of skill and possible understanding of how players think. Dropping torpedoes, hoping that Scharnhorst is going to push up that. The Scharnhorst is extraordinarily low on health, which is really unfortunate. Now we do know the Udachi is still around somewhere, and here I get a little distracted, almost run aground. Now, as you can see, we do have Leon that's currently AFK, and yeah, he's gonna be completely AFK. Doesn't look like he's a bot. It does look like he lost connection, so there's not anything he can really do. Yudachi does get spotted, and it's really weird to say that because we actually have a clanmate that is named Yudachi, so kind of amusing. But right there, 2,375, chunked him pretty good. Yudachi doesn't have that much health, so getting that early damage is really good because it does soften him up. Health is very similar to the Akatsuki. Once again, Akatsuki actually has 13,100. Leon is obviously spotted, which is going to be a very inviting target for some certain German battleships that, well, pretty much the only reason you go with the Scharnhorst Hakaym now is to use your torpedoes / secondaries, and of course a AFK target is the perfect place to go to obviously get some torpedo hits, because what else are you gonna do? Are you gonna attack actually live targets? Nah. But anyway, so AA on the ship, it's not great, it's not good, not really the best. We do see a Gneiss now with Scharnhorst kind of all together, dropping torpedoes, see if we can land a target. We do spot the Yudachi again. The Yudachi probably really is disliking me because we've been spotting each other intermittently. Needs some damage. Obviously he does not return fire, which does mean I am spotted, but there's not a lot of ships that really can shoot at me, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of ships that are particularly interested in shooting at me. So one kind of amusing thing is that Akatsuki actually has a 5.8 kilometer AA range, and its AA, once again, not the worst thing in the world, but definitely not the greatest. What's funny is the Shiratsuyu, which is the split branch, has slightly better AA, but its range is much shorter. And there we go, first kill of the game. Gneiss now taken out. Unfortunately, don't get the Scharnhorst, and once again we're still detected by the enemy Yudachi, which instantly decides to smoke up. No point in shooting because as soon as he goes into the smoke cloud, we're no longer going to be detected. There we go. And since we did not shoot, we aren't detected by our gun bloom. And like I said, this Scharnhorst, well, these Scharnhorst, yeah, they see a isolated AFK target, and of course that's their very first target to go for. Torpedoes aren't gonna hit, unfortunately. It's kind of a bad thing. Unfortunately, once you drop those torpedoes, if you miss, you miss completely. Our set that we dropped towards the Scharnhorst has the RNG sometimes on these gaps are quite amusing, because we have 2 torpedoes there that are super close together, and then the third one's way far out. Unfortunately, Scharnhorst is gonna be able to get in there. And one recommendation is, if you're not quite certain, because more than likely the Scharnhorst is going to turn, spread out your torpedoes. There you can see that I kind of aimed towards the line, because I was expecting the Scharnhorst would, you know, get a little bit closer, drop torpedoes, but no, instead he, I think, drops his starboard and then turns to get his port off. And unfortunately that does mean he's going to miss those torpedoes. So that's what's kind of a good idea is, in this situation, a good idea is to spread out your torpedoes. Ensures that you'll actually get a torpedo hit and do some damage. Once again, flooding is actually not as bad as it used to be. You still can do pretty sizable amount of damage, especially against battleships. And unfortunately we don't save the life of that AFK Leon, but We should at least help take down the Scharnhorst. That thought it was such a great idea to not help out his team, but to go after a AFK battleship. Yeah, not the greatest decision making there. Once again, being the harassment of this enemy Yudachi, as always. Now, one thing I kind of had to say about our team is we let this Atlanta live for too long. Just open boating and not actually getting hit. I'm actually kind of curious if anyone actually shoots at him. Now, obviously, I'm in a Akatsuki. Guns hit hard, but they reload very slowly, versus Atlanta, which has essentially USN destroyer guns. Definitely not a target I would go out after unless I can ensure that I can kill it within a few salvos. So obviously not a choice I'm going to be doing. Unfortunately, we don't get the Scharnhorst. Oh, nope. I lied. We got a Scharnhorst with the torpedoes. Do knock out the rudder, which probably means he is going to repair it, because obviously he doesn't want to lose that rudder. And our team has yet to actually fully capture B, which is interesting. A little dangerous on this torpedo drop. Not likely the Duke of York could really have turned into those. Decide to go ahead and open up, try to help take out the Scharnhorst as quickly as possible, because we desperately need to do it. And that's when we spot the Yudachi. Once again, this Yudachi, we are constantly going back and forth. Do get a fire on him. I think that's actually our second fire, and that's only been on the Yudachi, which is a little amusing. Plenty of time to dodge these torpedoes, so no major issue there. And now we're actually able to capture B. I will have to say, both teams not particularly great as far as tactics. Took us way too long to capture B, and we were really close to hitting this Atlanta. Unfortunately, our torpedoes die right then, and that's the worst feeling of having your torpedoes almost land on target and then they run out of juice, and unfortunately you don't get the actual hit, which is really unfortunate. Now things are a little dire for us. Well, semi-dire. Most of our battleships are a little bit further south and not immediately able to shoot at the Atlanta. It does look like they're just now starting to shoot at that Atlanta. We are detected by that Yudachi. That Yudachi probably hates me. Go ahead and open up. And once again, IGN versus IGN, kind of a decent battle. Both reload rates are very slow. They both hit hard. Unfortunately, we lost our Yudachi. Trying to finish him off. Get another fire. This is what I'm talking about. All our fires come from just on that Yudachi. But it does look like the hood does take out the enemy Yudachi. And then we have this Leningrad, who we've seen just a few times. And that, right there, on the minimap, is the last time we're going to see that Leningrad. No idea where he disappears to, but he disappears in this battle. Torpedoes, once again, kind of spreading them out. Don't know exactly how this Colorado is going to go. Was expecting him to come around the corner and then turn south, keeping his nose towards the enemy hood and enemy Colorado, or friendly Colorado for us. But doesn't decide to do that. No, he decides to turn north, showing full broadside to the enemy hood and Colorado. And yeah, this Atlanta just needs to go. He's still open boating in water. We do, I believe, get a torpedo. Yes, we do. 2 torpedoes, cause flooding. And yeah, it's time to shoot at this Atlanta. Once again, alpha damage on IGNDDs against Atlanta. They hit pretty hard, as you will see. Really hesitant. I probably should just open up, because this Atlanta I don't think is really going to be able to do much. He has too many targets to choose from. decent damage, cause a fire, get some defended base captures, and let's see if he can finish off this Atlanta. Do knock out his torpedoes, which is kind of amusing. Kind of self-righteous there. Do get Confederates, and don't get the kill, but at least we finally got rid of that Atlanta that's been open boating for so long. Colorado takes out the enemy Colorado, and all that's left is the Emile Bertin and that Leningrad. Like I said, that Leningrad is gone. Completely gone. No idea where he's going to be. We still have a little bit longer on this battle. Like I said, all that's left on the Emile Bertin, which he's starting to come in range. Range on the guns, not that great, 9.4. I don't go for range on my DDs very often because obviously when you fire you have an increased detect, obviously all the way out to your gun range. So having a shorter gun range, yes, you're going to be a little bit closer to target, but it's also easier to get out of detect than if you had a much longer range. Unfortunately, we lose our Fiji. Go ahead and open up on the Emile Bertin, and we kind of sniped the kill there. So that is our second kill of the game, and that is going to be it for this video, because I really don't think it's worth having you watch me just sell into A and cap it, because once again, this Leningrad is gone. No idea where he is. And I guess I'll go ahead and talk about my thoughts on the Akatsuki. I like her. Actually, before I did the Research Bureau rework on, or redo on the line, I actually had the ship for some time, and once again, reminds me a lot of what used to be what the Fubuki was like, which I really did enjoy the Fubuki once you get accustomed to getting those torpedo drops to work for you. So overall, thumbs up for me. The only downside I don't like about her is her detect 6.4 kind of sucks, but it's a tier 7. You don't have the additional module, concealment module, so unfortunately, yeah, you don't get that additional buff. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.